Either it's Joe Sonically Disruptive. How are you? So I am killing time at a hotel again tonight, and I guess to avoid just watching the news all night and slipping into a deep dark depression, I decided to do a little musical exercise here. Eddie Trunk has a radio show on Sirius. I don't know if you listen to it or not. He covers hard rock and metal, mainly kind of the classic metal. And tomorrow, which is March 17th, if you're watching this late, he has Judas Priest top 20, and I thought I was going to preempt that and steal his thunder. Just kidding. I was doing the exercise of coming up with my own top 20, and I thought, why not share this list? Because it took some time and it is painful. It is a difficult exercise to do. If you're a fan of Judas Priest, this is going to be tough to do because so many records, so many good songs, and how do you narrow it down to the right 20? Tough to do, man. And this is just a temporary list here. I'm sure it would change a half hour from now if you asked me. But, I'm just going to run these down quick. Not going to be an incredibly long video. I'm not going to include music or anything because I want to get that whole nickel or dime from the big ad revenue for this one and not use copyrighted material. I want to get all of that ad revenue. Get that whole 10 cents if I can. So that's the goal. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to start with number 20. Number 20, Crossfire. Crossfire is off from Redeemer of Souls and very different sounding for Priest, very bluesy and a very mature sound, and something about that song I always really enjoyed. Number 19, this is going to sound pretty low for Minnie because I think a lot of people prefer their 70s material. They had some great stuff then too. This is The Ripper, kind of a famous track from them, and it was a very good song, but I really couldn't put it up any higher. Number 18, now this one again I think is going to sound low to a lot of people because this one is always in their live show and is always featured. Oftentimes they open up with it, and it is Electric Eye, another killer tune. Number 17, I'm going to go with Delivering the Goods. Yeah, off from Killing Machine or Hellbent for Leather, depending on where you live. This is a track that opens it up and just kind of goes for the throat right away. Such a good song. Number 16 is off from British Steel, Grinder. I just like the inflections of Rob's vocal line on here, and there's something about it that I just really enjoy. Number 15, this is off of their latest record, and this is Trader's Gate. A really nice, heavy tune. This, I think, is a really good demonstration of Richie Faulkner's writing and guitar riffage, which is very good. Number 14, back to Killing Machine, and it's the title track, Killing Machine. Great song, heavy and a little bit different for the time, and a really cool tune. Number 13, again, a low in many people's books because many people think this may be one of their best songs. And if you're younger, you're going to think this is one of their best songs, and this may be the only song that you actually know from them, Painkiller. The opening drums just kick you in the teeth, and the rest of the song doesn't let up. Still to this date, one of the heaviest things you'll ever hear. It doesn't have any guttural growls or anything. It doesn't need it. It's not drop D tuning or drop C tuning or drop B tuning. It's none of that. It's just standard E flat, I think, and it is still heavy as hell. Cool song. 12, kind of a simple song, and I've always loved this song. Desert Plains, off from Point of Entry. Something about it, it's just so catchy and such a cool tune. Number 11, this song demonstrates this whole idea of real light and shade that Judas Priest have always done so well, Beyond the Realms of Death. Awesome song. Number 10, a very thrashy, punky, heavy metal song, Screaming for Vengeance. His voice in this is just like a banshee from hell. It is so good. His screams on this, fantastic. Number 9, A Touch of Evil. That song has a pop element and there's some electronics in it, and it gives you a little different vibe for Priest, but I always loved that song and thought it was really great songwriting. Number 8, Saints in Hell. A deep cut there, a very deep cut, and something about that song is killer. The vocal lines on that are extraordinary. If you don't know it, check it out. Number 7, another song off their most recent release, Firepower. No, not the song Firepower. Off their most recent release, Firepower. And that is Rising from Ruins. So anthemic. So catchy. You hear it and you will have that chorus in your head for the rest of the day probably. And considering with kind of what we're going through right now, there's a message in there. The whole rising from ruins, it's kind of this call to rise up and survive and carry on and all of that stuff. Great song. I hadn't listened to it for a while, and I just listened to it just a little bit ago, and it made me feel good. Love that song. Number 6, Rapid Fire. What can you say? One of the first thrash metal songs I think there was. Just a great song. Number 5, Jawbreaker. Something about the way that just kind of snakes through and just kind of builds up this tension, and it's such a great song. Number 4, again, this does kind of the same thing, builds that tension, gives you that real light and shade, song called The Rage. Number 3, this song is just fun and heavy and will make you bang your head whether you like it or not, and that is Freewheel Burning. That's kind of what heavy metal is if you look it up in the dictionary. As is number 2, talking about feeling good in a feel-good song. Number 2, Riding on the Wind. One of the best vocal performances you'll ever listen to. Spot on, fantastic, and will make your adrenaline rise listening to it. Great song. Number 1, something about the riff, the opening riff, the lyricism, the vocal approach makes this song essential Priest to me, and that is The Sentinel, off from arguably one of their best albums, Defenders of the Faith. For me, it's that along with Screaming for Vengeance. Those two have always been my top go-to Judas Priest albums. And The Sentinel is nothing short of a masterpiece. This is full of the light and shade. Once again, as I've said before, it builds attention so well and delivers a unforgettable song. So listen to it if you don't know it. Judas Priest, The Sentinel. My number 1 Judas Priest song. So there you go. 1 through 20 or 20 through 1, however you want to count it. Doesn't matter to me. It's one of my first favorite bands. This is kind of the band that brought me into the world of metal. And, this far in the game, they're still strong. Now, I know it's, you have only Rob Halford now, and you got Hill on bass, and that's all for the original members. And Rob's not even an original member, but, yeah. As far as their first record, yeah, it was Rob Halford. So in my book, he's an original member. And, that's what you have. But Richie Faulkner has come in and taken over a lot of the writing, and he's done a great job. Their last record, Firepower, was super strong for a band that far into their career. And, yeah. But, of course, being only the second most important band in the history of heavy metal, they don't deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, do they? Because they, again, did not get the votes. Come on. Really? Anyway, that's enough. If you have any interest in Judas Priest, and if you have your own top 20 list, let me know what it is. Thank you very much for watching. See ya.